Did you wonder whether there was any point in making resolutions for 2021? I certainly did. But even so, early in January I decided to set myself a few achievable challenges. One was to start and finish a painting. But by very good fortune, 2 weeks later I received an email. Someone had seen a painting I did a few years ago of Scarisbrick Hall near Ormskirk, and they wondered whether I still had it. Unfortunately, it had long since been sold. But out of that came a commission based on these source photos. So this is the story of an acrylic painting, but with a little bit of history thrown in too. So this is my sketch of Scarisbrick Hall, and this is after 70 minutes. This is day one. Not a bad start. So this is where we are after half an hour. This is a bit of my BTEC colour theory here from my pre-degree foundation course. I'm trying to get some of the colours of the trees as I want them to be in the background sketch, and then I'm going to try and build it up from there, and we will see how it goes. But at the moment, the next thing to do is going to be the sky. Sky is always fun. This is the base layer for the sky. It's a bit more orange than I was expecting. Initially it was meant to be a bit more pink, and then I mixed the pink paint and it looked like candy floss, so I threw a bit of yellow in it just to make it a bit more golden, and it's come out orange, so we're going to have to put a bit more pink back in. But this is the great fun of playing with paint, and it is only the base layer, so it doesn't really matter too much because probably a lot of this is going to get hidden. Didn't expect to like this, but I sort of do. So I think I want to try and keep a bit more pink in this sky than I originally meant to. I like it. Different, but good different. This is now an hour and 25 minutes in. This is what it looks like with the base of the sky in. The sky is not quite finished, but it is blended in a lot better than I thought it would be by now. There is all kinds of different colours in here. The pink that I put in for the sunset originally was almost pure pink, too pink in fact. So it's been toned down a bit with some bronze and some peach, and I think there's a bit of yellow in there. Starting to look like a slightly cloudy evening, which is the overall look that I was going for. And at the moment I really like the warmth of the colours. So far, so good. Now this light is really not absolutely perfect. It is coming up to 5 o'clock in the evening now, so it's January, it's going dark. Today has been a day of trying to organise trees, trying to get some interesting colours in the trees, and finally, I think it's starting to come together. Just the building to finish off now. It's not actually all that easy to work out what colour this roof is. There seems to be every colour under the sun in these tiles. It's just a case of mixing colours and trying to work out what looks right. At some point, hopefully, it might start to look like a roof. She hopes it will look like a roof. Because this is a historic building, I thought maybe you might be interested in a little bit of the history of Scarisbrick Hall. And this is very much a potted history. It is not by any means an expert history. Other people have done lots more research than I have. But there are interesting things about the Scarisbrick family that are worth knowing about, I think. There was a 19th century owner, Charles Scarisbrick, who was born, I think it was 1801, and died about 1860. Now, Charles was quite a landed man. As well as this house, he also owned huge swathes of what is now modern day Southport, so I'm told, and he did actually have children. Unfortunately, none of them inherited this house, for the very simple reason that he never actually got round to marrying his long-term lady friend, if you want to call her that, Mary Ann Braithwaite, which means that when he dies in 1860, under the inheritance laws, none of his children could inherit. So, his sister, Anne, inherits instead, and I think she was married to a man called Thomas Hunloke. He was from Wingerworth in Derbyshire or somewhere like that. And he was much older than her. I think they only had one child, a daughter, Eliza. So Charles dies and Anne, his sister, comes back to inherit the hall. She was an older lady by then. I think she was in her 60s. She could have even been a little over 70. So apparently they had a big firework party and everything, because all the tenants came out to see her and line the streets and all the things that people did in those days. She basically commissioned the Pugins, I can't remember which, to remodel Scarisbrick Hall in the Gothic style, which was becoming quite fashionable then. But I am told that the tower design for Scarisbrick Hall, which you can see here, is not dissimilar to the one outside the Houses of Parliament, very similar to Big Ben, or the tower where Big Ben is kept. I think it's the Elizabeth Tower properly. It was very much of its time, the fashionable Gothic style, so it is thanks to Anne and her renovations that Scarisbrick Hall looks the way that it does today. Because the tower is about 100 feet tall, and Scarisbrick is such a flat area, most of West Lancashire is really flat, you can be driving around anywhere in Scarisbrick and you can see the tower for miles. Some last finishing touches added this afternoon, but apart from that, We're now up to just over 10 hours painting time, and I'm going to call this finished. I like it. I like the colours, I like the sky, I like the building, even the tower has pulled itself together somehow, and I don't want to spoil it, so this is something I'm happy with, and I'm absolutely happy to call this the first finished painting of 2021. Which means I've fulfilled one of my New Year's resolutions, which is not bad for the end of January. Very pleased with this.